And let's talk about the Vegas Golden Knights, who, and I can't believe I get to say this, made a charitable donation to the Chicago Blackhawks of a Vezina goalie, the face of the franchise, the first guy to ever put on the jersey, and the guy who, in Pittsburgh, beloved. You could build a statue for Marc-Andre Fleury in both Vegas and Pittsburgh.
In two cities, both sides of the country.
Absolutely adored there, and frankly played well, and gave him up for nothing. Now, they did get to sign Alec Martinez because of that. And as much as I dislike the situation that has occurred with the Blackhawks and what's continuing to happen, Stan Bowman has made some pretty big moves. You got a Vezina goalie for nothing. You got Seth Jones. It's not bad. And you were able to dump Duncan Keith's cap hit, and they paid you. Now, yeah, I know. Listen, we keep saying this. Stop helping the Blackhawks. But I got to ask with Vegas, there are rumors already circulating about the fact that this team has trouble, this management group specifically, not the players, that this management group has problems with the truth. As in, they play it fast and loose. And, you could chalk that up to cold, hard calculation. And I get that sometimes, GMs will come on and be like, we're not considering a trade, and then they'll trade. But when you lie directly to the players and you mistreat the players, especially a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury, who was universally loved, that shit gets around. And you look at what happened with Nate Schmidt. So I'm looking at Nate Schmidt, I'm looking at Marc-Andre Fleury. And I wonder in Vegas, and Berkey said this last year, and people kind of were like, Berkey. They're starting to get a reputation like, yeah, it's fun to play here, but you're going to be here a max like 18 to 24 months. And there's already things about Max Pacioretty floating around out there.
Let me read you something. Pointed out by Down Goes Brown. So this is Jesse Granger with the quote, who covers the Golden Knights for The Athletic. Foley, the owner, Foley on Fleury potentially being traded in offseason. There were just discussions. The trades that were thrown around out there didn't make any sense to us. He never came close to being part of a deal. I would have had a big problem with it if it had been presented to me. He hasn't said anything too bad so far because reality changes, right? Mm-hmm. Foley also said, this is the next tweet from Jesse Granger, Foley also said he told Fleury and his wife in an elevator at T-Mobile Arena that he would retire a Golden Knight. I said, this is where you're going to be. You're going to get to love Vegas, and Vegas is going to love you. I feel like I made a commitment to him at that point. And where'd that go? That was February of this past year. No, of this year. Sorry. The year that we're in, 2021. What happened? I know I've argued for a long time that having both Fleury and Leonard doesn't really make sense.
Financially, it's expensive.
And I know
but Montreal's doing it.
Exactly. This didn't completely come out of the blue because he knew there were trade discussions ongoing. We do know that. He found out about this over Twitter. And the Golden Knights wear that. And the Blackhawks wear that as well. With their cute little eyeball emojis tweet. Didn't send any eyeball emojis to Marc-Andre Fleury. This guy didn't know. This is the greatest and most beloved player in Vegas Golden Knights franchise history, which sounds ridiculous because they've only been around for 4 years, but it is the truth. And you shafted him. Shafted him so bad, and he doesn't want to play anywhere else so bad that he's considering leaving $6 million on the table to not play for the Chicago Blackhawks. Mm-hmm. People forget that. He might just not go.
Yep. And I mean, given what we know about the Blackhawks organization, can you blame them?
I mean, they have a ton of turnaround too.
They do. Well, I mean, yeah, but no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the culture.
Oh no, I know. I know.
And this is the thing.
Where do you begin with them?
I think George McPhee is still there, right? He's the president?
I think he's the president now, and Kelly McCrimmon
is the GM.
Is the GM.
At a certain point, these guys are going to have to start. And just, Steve, you mentioned it, around the league, they're not a popular front office to deal with. Yes, they've been extremely successful. And oftentimes when you're successful, it doesn't make you very popular. I get that.
Fair.
But this, in a nutshell, is what we've been hearing for a while. And it's that Marc-Andre Fleury found out he was traded over Twitter. That is a problem. That's an organizational problem. You make the call before the trade call even goes in. Say, Mark, we've agreed to terms. Sorry, this is not how we wanted it to end. And maybe he goes, fuck you, and hangs up, which I don't think he would. But it's still a call you make before you even send in the thing to the league, because he deserves that. Right. It's shocking. It's such a blight on the Golden Knights organization, one that has been extremely successful. And if I am a player there and I've signed long-term, Pacioretty, Martinez, Pietrangelo, whatever, it's like, when's the next shiny toy going to come along and I'll be replaced? And I know that's how the NHL works, but we're acting like Marc-Andre Fleury is like done. The guy just won the Vezina.
Just won the Vezina. And he's got a year left on his deal. But beyond the fact, let's say he did know. Let's say he knew. Mm-hmm. And he was like, trade me. I don't want to be here anymore. It's too hot. Let's say that's what happened. The return wasn't great. How many of you had ever heard of Teemu Hartikainen before this trade?
I'm his number one fan. I started a Facebook page in his honor.
All right.
It was now, essentially future considerations.
Now, wait. How many people listening to the show right now realized it wasn't Teemu Hartikainen? It was Mikael Hakkarainen, and I was talking about someone else. How many of you bothered to remember the name of the guy that the reigning Vezina winner was just traded for?
Yeah.
Imagine being that guy. Colby Armstrong, like every trade deadline, talks about like the pressure of showing up at a locker room after getting traded for Marian Hossa.
Oh.
This dude just got traded 1-for-1 for Marc-Andre Fleury. How do you get nothing?
All right.
The Sabres don't have a goalie. They don't, like, literally do not have a goalie. There were teams looking for a goalie today. Now, I'm willing to bet they tried. I'm going to throw it out there that maybe they didn't try hard enough.
Or maybe nobody wants to deal with them anymore.
Or that.
Yeah, when you're flipping the reigning Vezina Trophy winner for essentially future considerations. Cap space, I should say. When you're
which is valuable.
$7 million of cap space, you're giving away for free. In a culture that's so incestuous like hockey, where everybody knows everybody and everybody talks, and it means, we just had the conversation, Steve, you brought up about Ron Francis doing business because he wants to be a good guy. When that's how hockey works amongst these GMs, and you're out there treating players like you can just swap them for nothing, like that's not going to be a good look for any guy who in the future wants to come to Vegas. Like, I don't understand how they can expect players to have confidence in their organization if that's how they're doing business. Nobody's going to want to play there.
And there will be people who respond to this and say, well, that's just the business. Okay.
It's also people and humans.
I think there's, yes, we have to move on from this player and we didn't expect to. And then there's fuck him, he'll find out on Twitter.
Right. And it's
there's a difference.
Consistent with Vegas, the way guys come in and they go out. And you don't want to go to a place where you feel like you in a couple of years or in a year, you're going to be gone. It's crazy that we're saying this about a franchise that's only 4 years old now, how much turnover they've had. And it's not a good look for the way to run a team.
And like people are, oh, it's a business. The choice to be awful about this was made.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing is
you didn't have to do that.
Right.
It's not about, you got to trade him. Well, he's not going to die. No, he's not going to die, stupid. Is that what it's about? It's about basic courtesy.
Jesse, you know what I love?
People with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse, can I tell you what I love?
What?
When Steve argues with Twitter about the tweets
loud.
he's going to get in the future on this show. It's my favorite. Steve's going to check his mentions in the morning, and he's going to he's pre-arguing with somebody who hasn't sent that tweet yet.
That's
somebody will wake up
pre-arguing Twitter right now, Steve.
Okay, you know what, Steve? You seem like you need a vacation, all right? I'm worried about your mental state, Steve. It might have, do you think it has something to do with the fact that I spend all day in the basement working on this shit and reading your stupid fucking tweets? And then I have no one to bounce it off of and no one to vent to? And then I join this show and have to talk about you talking about, oh, he's not going to die, he's going to make secrets. Shut the fuck! I have no outlet! Except for this camera and microphone! And when I turn it on, I'm sorry when I go off! My wife doesn't want to hear this shit. She barely watches the games. So it's you. You get to hear it, all right? It'll be a great day when I get to go back in the office and I can rant about sports to people.
Steve, what are you? You're never leaving that basement. You're not going back to the office.
You go to the office before the pandemic.
Yeah, man. You were social distancing
several times a week.
You've been social distancing for a decade. Get out of here.
I would hang out with my friends, and they would murder my confidence by ripping on me the entire time.
Oh, you mean us?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm a little concerned you didn't pick up on friends when I was talking about you assholes.
I thought you had some other guys you were talking to. I was going to say, who are those?
Concerned.
I didn't know they existed.
Steve, you seem anxious and pressed. What the fuck? Sorry. The only people I have to bounce off of are the deepest, darkest corners of the internet. And weirdly, that's had an effect on my brain.
You now pre-argue Twitter. Oh.
I pre-argue Twitter. I pre-argue with some. I talk to some genuinely great people. People who are going to be
all the time,
friends for the rest of my life. And also people who should absolutely not have a driver's license. Like it's simply where were we even, what hockey team were we talking about?
Vegas.
It was Vegas?
Vegas.
How did this come up?
On Friday, when we're done
Fleury.
when we're done recording our show on Friday.
What?
I hope you throw your phone in the ocean like you keep saying you're
I'm going to crush a beer on my forehead and have s'mores all night.
But bring it back for Wednesday because we do have Rick Westhead coming on. That's important.
Fine.
Maybe.
We do need to keep the phone.
Nah, we'll see if we can find it.
Fine, but as soon as that show's done, I'm not coming back until I'm at least 260. Like I'm not coming back.